Hello, and welcome to the Slow English Podcast. Today, we are going on a journey through the night.
We are going to talk about something you do every single day. Sleep. How did you sleep last night? Did you sleep for 8 hours straight?
Doctors today tell us that a good sleep means closing your eyes at 10 p.m. and opening them at 6 a.m. One long, unbroken block of rest.
And if you wake up in the middle of the night, you worry. You think, oh no, I have a problem. I cannot sleep. But we are here to tell you a secret. The idea of sleeping for 8 hours straight is actually very new.
For most of human history, people did not sleep like that. If you traveled back in time to the year 1600, nobody slept in one long block.
Instead, they slept in 2 parts. They had 2 separate sleeps every night.
Let us look at a typical night for a family in the year 1600. Remember, there was no electricity. There were no light bulbs.
So when the sun went down, the world became very, very dark. Candles were expensive, so most people went to bed very early, maybe around 8 p.m.
They were tired from working on the farm, so they fell asleep quickly. This was called the first sleep.
They would sleep deeply for about 4 hours.
Then something interesting happened. Around midnight, the whole family would wake up.
They did not wake up because of a noise. They woke up naturally. Their bodies were ready to be awake.
This period was called the watch. It was a break in the middle of the night.
Today, if you wake up at midnight, you try to go back to sleep immediately. You keep your eyes closed. But in the past, people stayed awake. They stayed awake for 1 or 2 hours.
So, what did they do in the dark? Well, they stayed in bed, but they were active.
It was a quiet time to talk. Husbands and wives could talk about their day without the children listening. It was a private time.
Some people used this time to pray. Religious people believed that God listened more closely in the middle of the night.
Others would get out of bed to put wood on the fire or go to the toilet. Some even went to visit their neighbors. Imagine visiting your neighbor at 1 a.m. for a chat.
There is another important activity that happened during the watch. Doctors in the old days said that this midnight break was the perfect time to make babies.
Why? Because the husband and wife had already slept for 4 hours. They were rested. They had energy.
After staying awake for an hour or 2, people would start to feel sleepy again. Then they would go back to sleep.
This was called the second sleep. They would sleep until the morning sun came up.
This pattern, first sleep, a break, and second sleep, was the natural way humans lived for thousands of years.
So the next time you wake up at 2 a.m., do not worry. You are not sick. You are just remembering how your ancestors used to live.
But the time we slept is not the only thing that has changed. The place we slept has changed too.
Today, your bedroom is a private place. It is clean. It is quiet. It is just for you.
But in the past, the bedroom was a very different place.
It was crowded, it was dirty, and sometimes it was full of strangers.
Let's talk about the bed itself. In a poor family, the bed was the most expensive piece of furniture they owned.
Because beds were expensive, they only had one. This meant everyone had to share.
The father, the mother, and all the children slept in the same big bed.
But it wasn't just the family. If they had guests, the guests slept in the bed too. If they had servants, the servants slept on the floor in the same room.
And if it was a very cold winter, they might even bring the farm animals inside. Imagine sleeping next to a chicken or a pig to stay warm.
It was even worse if you were traveling. Today, if you travel, you book a hotel room. You get a private key.
But in the year 1600, if you stayed at an inn, which is like an old hotel, you did not rent a room, you only rented a space in a bed.
This meant you might wake up next to a complete stranger. You might be sleeping next to a smelly farmer or a loud soldier.
And the beds were not clean. They were made of straw, dried grass. This straw was a perfect home for bugs.
Bedbugs, fleas, and lice were everywhere. People accepted that they would be bitten all night long.
There was another danger in the bedroom: ghosts.
Before we had science, people did not understand bad dreams. Sometimes you wake up and you cannot move. You feel a heavy weight on your chest.
Today, we call this sleep paralysis. It is just a trick of the brain. But in the past, people thought it was a monster.
They called it the Night Hag. They believed a demon was sitting on their chest trying to crush them.
So going to sleep was actually quite scary. You were surrounded by strangers, bitten by bugs, and afraid of monsters.
So for centuries, humans slept in two parts, and they slept in crowded, dirty beds.
But then the world changed forever. One invention killed the darkness, and it changed how we sleep today.
The biggest enemy of sleep was a man named Thomas Edison. He invented the light bulb.
Before the light bulb, the sun controlled our lives. When it was dark, we slept.
But with electric light, we could turn night into day. We could work late. We could play late.
Thomas Edison actually hated sleep. He said sleep was a waste of time. He wanted people to work more.
Because of street lights and factory lights, people stopped going to bed at 8 p.m. They started staying up until midnight.
This meant there was no time for the second sleep. We had to compress our sleep into one block. We lost our natural rhythm.
But this created a new problem. If people have to wake up early for work, how do they wake up? There were no alarm clocks on phones.
In England, during the Industrial Revolution, there was a very strange job. It was called the knocker-upper.
A knocker-upper was a human alarm clock. He was a man who walked through the streets early in the morning.
He carried a very long bamboo stick. He would tap on the bedroom windows on the second floor. Tap, tap, tap.
He would not leave until he saw the person wake up.
Some knocker-uppers used a pea shooter. They would shoot dry peas at the glass window to make a noise.
People paid him a few pennies a week to wake them up. This job existed until the 1970s.
So where are we today? Today, we have soft beds, we have private rooms, we have alarm clocks on our phones.
But we are more tired than ever. We look at blue screens on our phones before bed. We confuse our brains.
We have lost the first sleep and the second sleep. We have lost the quiet time in the middle of the night.
Perhaps we should try to learn from the past. Turn off the lights earlier. Put down the phone.
And if you wake up at midnight, don't worry. Maybe it is just time for a little chat.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Slow English Podcast. We hope you have a very good night.
Sweet dreams. Goodbye.